Here is, oh, I'm an American. I'm here on an H-1B visa. It's pretty good. Better than I can do your accent. Mike Slater, Brett Barney's done. Spread the word.
The will count majority.
Coming up right after the David Webb show, Representative Kat Cabot from Florida is now chairing the House's Emerging Tech Task Force. We're going to find out what that is right after Webb.
The will count majority coming up next at noon East after the David Webb show on Sirius XM Patriot.
Do you have a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more that you don't need? Well, don't lapse or surrender your policy. You might be sitting on a gold mine. That's right. You may be able to sell all or part of your life insurance policy to Coventry for cash, or a combination of cash and coverage with no future premiums, even a term policy. Call Coventry Direct at 800-465-7600 or visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-465-7600. For over 25 years, we've helped thousands of people sell their policies. And we can probably help you too. Call us today at 800-465-7600 or visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-465-7600. Call now.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
It's official. Newsmax has become a news giant. It's even listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Over 40 million Americans regularly turn to Newsmax for the news they need to know. They're tuning into the Newsmax channel on all major cable systems. They watch Newsmax too on all streaming platforms. They go online to newsmax.com for breaking headlines. Millions more have downloaded the free Newsmax app on their smartphone and home TV. Reuters says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. Tens of millions of Americans like you have made the switch to Newsmax for the news they can trust. So make the switch.
Literally less than half a second later.
Don't ever look back.
Strong national defense. Legal immigration. We are Sirius XM Patriot.
Channel 125.
Conservative principles live here. Sirius XM Patriot presents Breitbart News Daily with your host, Mike Slater.
I love this. Maryland father. Oh, poor Maryland father. Jerry's in Florida right now. Jerry, how are you?
I'm okay. Listen, this makes perfect sense. We got to compromise. Trump should send that guy in El Salvador his bail-in dollars to 2028. He signed
Morning, Brandon.
back to the DNC and they fill it out.
I'm good. Got my taxes done last night.
All of these people they want to deport. So yeah, we're going to deport them, but we're going to hand them these bail-in dollars.
Sending my first payment today.
That's what we're going to bet. Oh yeah, they don't care about the people. They care about the votes.
That's so good. Jerry, what a good man you are. What a good life.
Filed payment plan.
You know what I mean? You seem like a reasonable fella.
Right.
And I think that's good. One noble of you. That's great.
All right.
Listen, you're out of here. We're sending you to this maximum security prison in the world. But here's your ballot. You can vote every 4 years. Just get out of here. It's an interesting compromise. Didn't want anyway. Richard is in Pennsylvania. Richard, your testimony deserves more than 90 seconds, but that's all we have today in the show. Tell us your story, brother.
Well, the short story is I had a pistol put in my mouth when I was 16 years old, right? And my life changed from there, right? And I grew up with parents who taught me to write values. I had a paper route. I worked at McDonald's. I worked all over the place. And then they hooked me up with
Actually,
and then
got a little bit of a return from the state, but
I worked for a corporate pharmaceutical.
a couple thousand to the
Here I am. I'm 50 and I'm retired now.
to the
This
feds.
is, and I go all the time with my daughter, right? We listen to it. It's great. Gum dens and all. We love it. Right?
Yeah, let's get rid of the fucking taxes, guys.
Right? Let them hear it. Let them see it, and just do it.
I'm so glad your daughter knows your story. How did you get off drugs?
It's so nice to actually make
My parents,
keep some of the money that I make.
You drop one in the pants, and I would ask my parents for help. They hooked me up with a cleaner, and
I did both last night. I did federal and state. Yeah, I got a $200 back from the state. I didn't do an extension. I just extension / payment plan. So it's an automatic extension, but you got to pay interest on it. Yeah, Southern Illinois. In the fields. It's a lot like this. There it is. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I was dealing with that for about 6 years. Old stuff, old BS shit from my past. I think 3 years ago is when I finally started getting a return. It's just misty. Those clouds look fucked up in front of us, though, don't they? Actually kind of pretty. It does look pretty evil out there, don't it? Driving right into it, too. Morning, Claiborne. Well, we don't really get them near the city, but maybe the lake. It's actually pretty cool today. It was warm yesterday, but it's only high in the mid-40s today.
Citizens is legal. During an Oval Office meeting, the president praised El Salvador's leader for imprisoning the immigrants. Rick Clugston, Washington. Harvard University's refusal to abandon DEI satisfy other Trump administration conditions will cost the school more than $2 billion in federal grants and contracts. The money's being frozen. The administration demanding a merit-based admissions and hiring policy at Harvard. It was a magnitude 5.2 earthquake centered near San Diego, Southern California.
Yeah, it's 45 here.
The experts say that
Meteorologist Elizabeth Cochran in California says it was felt far and wide and rattled people, but there are no reports of major injuries.
Oh, yeah?
Noticed the shaking, but it was not frightening.
She says the earthquake was an aftershock from Sunday's 3.3 magnitude quake along the same Elsinore fault.
Well, today is 13 years without opiates, so it's a good day for me.
The largest earthquake, and we now call everything that happened yesterday foreshock.
Cochran says to expect even more aftershocks. I'm Julie Walker.
Wall Street may open lower this morning. Dow futures down 123. Nasdaq futures off 24 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
So we talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too, with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain.
What a weird day to get clean, huh, on tax day?
Visit relieffactor.com. Remember the number 4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become vacation you. You just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily, that vacation you burns
13 hours.
just every couple days, which is why regular you gets in trouble with the dermatologist, because vacation you doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
Japanese regulators accuse Google of violating anti-monopoly law.
The Japan Fair Trade Commission's cease and desist order says Google must stop the pre-installation
For sure,
of
Eggsy.
search engine in Android smartphones. Which
For sure.
in effect shuts out
That
competition.
too many people that I've known since I got clean are not here with us anymore because they wanted to try it one more time.
Japan significantly to promote innovation as a technology leader. This
No. Even if I get a painkiller prescribed, I hand the bottle to the wife, and she decides when I'm able to have one, or I just don't. Oh, congrats there, Eggsy. Yeah.
Well, I think it's fair to say that everyone in America and Americans living abroad know what day it is. It's tax day, April 15th.
Good for you, bud.
Work hard to pay the government.
25 years, 26 years. Nice.
Ways to waste your money, to use your money to take that interest-free loan that you give them. And how they put it to use, well, a lot of good questions about that. At the same time, the talk should be about tax relief, not just
Yeah, doctors don't get it. Honestly, I think a lot of doctors, they just fucking, they're trained that they have to give you a pill for everything. Honestly, that's where my addiction started, in the Army. Fucking doctors just giving me pills for whatever ache and pain I had. Ankle reconstruction, there you go. Yeah, pass it forward, there you go. Yeah, most of the time, whenever I do get anything, it just sits there and it expires in the cabinet because wife's never been interested in that stuff.
That's not new news, but I wanted to put that together in the sense of you understanding the path that we will take together in that sense, and that we need to take as a country to get tax relief, and what we need to do to make us economically healthy again. Kelly Loeffler had this to say about the tax package and whether she believes it will be successful or not.
I have a lot of confidence that Congress is going to get this tax bill done. We have to get it
Yeah.
done. It's not a question of if it's a question of when. And the sooner we can do it, the better, because it will provide important certainty to all small businesses. They may not all be impacted by tariffs, but they're all impacted by tax, and it's certainly the 20% pass-through deduction. It's immediate expensing, bonus depreciation, all of these nuances that make them confident in investing in America, just like the large companies you've seen where they've come in and already put $6 trillion in. That will also have a knock-on effect positively.
Yeah, I just don't like what it does to me.
Communities benefit from manufacturing and all the subsequent investments that happen as a result.
Now, it certainly would be of interest to her as the administrator of the SBA, the Small Business Administration, because that is a driver, that is the driver of the American economy, small businesses. And it's classified under the tax code. That can be up to a $250.
That's one thing that about opiate withdrawal.
Needs to be understood for what
For the most part, won't kill you, but you'll wish you were dead. And grateful you didn't die.
Everything's about the gig economy at times, and the little bodega owner, nothing against either of those two. But in fact,
Morning, Unindoctrinated.
is the driver that matters.
Good to see you.
A stabilized environment.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit better than 55 miles an hour there, homie.
Tax structure.
Congrats,
All
Brandon.
the other components that need to come into play under the new approach, which is government shouldn't be wasteful, government shouldn't overspend, shouldn't spend.
Well, I was gonna get over.
Take money from
Okay.
the taxpayers, which, by the way, is not a problem in Washington, D.C. Government takes it like the but improper payments, just as an example, that go out of government of your money, tops $521 billion annually, according to the government's own analysis.
Yeah.
$500 billion of improper payments in whatever manner. Waste, fraud, incompetence, dead people, lying people, doesn't matter. Improper payments. Now, the White House, for its
Oh, same thing, Brandon.
taken on.
I like my bourbon from time to time, a good IPA, as you all know. And then, yeah, I don't leave. My cannabis, I pretty much treat like medicine. I'll buy a pre-roll, and that son of a bitch will last me 2 to 3 weeks.
A tool that the White House and the Congress can use to take back your money. I'll get into the details of how they can do this, because that's what's typically missing. And I understand on TV they can't give you the details, and some of the talk shows like to just use the word and then use the phrase, the Endowment Control Act. But we'll get into that. When you look at some of the examples of waste that are being reported in this latest cacophony of waste and fraud that the White House has asked to be clawed back, some $9.3 billion in previously approved funding, I think you'll understand why. I mean, do we really need $900,000 to build a greenhouse gas calculator? What is the issue with xenophobia in Venezuela that requires $750,000 of Americans' money? They spent billions under the Biden administration, allocated billions, spent it somewhere to put in charging stations across America. Already built. But in Rwanda, they want us to spend $500,000 for electric
Where you
buses.
going, dude?
Maybe
Plane
that's where the
disappears up
charging
there.
stations went. And okay,
Fucking
it's
assholes.
breakfast time, so if any of you are eating breakfast,
Idiot.
$66,666. First of all, 666. Let's just get that off the table. To feed insect powder to children in Madagascar. How did this question Republicans too. How did this get through Congress? This is approved funding. By the way, we can also add into that USAID, PBS, NPR. Remember, they were approved from Congress. The NPR and PBS, that is.
If he wants it, he gets it.
The details on rescission. Because the term is used.
Ooh, electric Mustang.
The Control Act is mentioned, but rarely is, and because I believe in adult conversations and understanding and educating the audience and educating myself. Because look, I don't just make this stuff up and it doesn't just come out of my head. And I'm not that smart, but I can look it up both together and make sure that I give it to you correctly so you understand what the White House, the Congress, must do. It's not a can do. This is must do. Rescission, of course, proposed by the executive branch, the President of the United States, for approval by Congress. Request to cancel all or parts of allocated budget authority, targeting unobligated funds. Those are those dollars appropriated by Congress, but not formally obligated by a government agency. So when the left and the media can see it and MSNBC and right, they can't do this. Yes, they can. The Empowerment Control Act governs this.
More money than sense there, fucking Canadians. How do Canadians have? Look at all this.
How it works? Well, the White House, exactly. The President.
Probably a car in that trailer.
Transmits to Congress a message to both the House and the Senate with the requested amount of budget authority to be rescinded. Specific accounts, functions, justifications, other details. Again, a message from the White House to Congress, our elected representatives in the House and Senate. And there is a limited time and process here, and limited debate in each House of Congress, and only in spite of Cory Booker's filibuster skills. A simple majority in the Senate, not the supermajority requirement, and that's not part of this. So I've actually watched.
Talking about the Hanson brothers.
About this. I don't know. But if I can find the answer, so can they. And again, limited time. To the Republicans, you have the majorities in the House and Senate. You don't need a supermajority. You need a simple majority in the Senate. You have that. Congressional action.
I actually met them here in Toledo one time.
Is transmitted,
Got a picture with them.
must be finished before the end of a 45 calendar day period of continuous sessions. Again, beginning with the transmittal of that rescission package. Otherwise, the proposal is rejected. So Republicans, if you do nothing in that 45 days and this is rejected, it's your fault. By the way, in those 45 days, and this is where the Democrats will run around with their hair on fire once again, any funding transmitted by the White House, subject to the rescission request, is frozen. Oh no. Republicans want to kill Social Security and Medicare. They want children to starve. They want grandma to be thrown off the cliff.
We're doing the fast.
Wheelchairs pulled away from you and your walkers taken away. No. Again, under the Empowerment Control Act, funding is provided through the appropriations process, and that is what the rescission request. It's for discretionary spending, which, by the way, when we do it by the percentages and the numbers, it's insane. That's the word for it. Discretionary spending in 2024 fiscal year is about 27%, or roughly $1.8 trillion. in defense programs, where there's a lot of waste and fraud, are almost half of total discretionary spending. And you've got other things that are funded through the appropriations. Homeland Security, education, there's research.
It's Chicken Paprikash Day too at Michael's, so
space, environmental
we'll break our fast there around noon to 1 o'clock sometime.
And despite
Water
what
and
Chucky
coffee till
Schmucky
then.
Schumer says, or any other Democrat, or Jasmine Hoodrat Crockett, or AOC missing on Roosevelt Avenue in her district, whatever. What did somebody call her yesterday? OCDC.
That sounds good, actually. Poached eggs.
Despite what they say, what the soy boy from Brooklyn, Hakeem Jeffrey, says, or if Cory Booker were to filibuster for 26 hours without going to the bathroom. Cheers. It does not include spending that is mandatory under law. And what are those things? Like Social Security and Medicare.
Later, Claiborne.
Democrats are lying because they have no truth to work with. So now, I hope you understand better that while, yes, today is tax day, the deadline to get it stamped at the post office, the lines, I remember the tax day Tea Party rallies outside the post office in New York and in other areas where we did them, and people trying to get there to get that stamp by midnight. We need not just tax day, no, we really need tax day. But it likes tax day. I don't. And yes, we need a reasonable amount of taxation to cover the needs of the nation. That should be responsibly managed by government. But we need tax relief. We need cleanup on aisle beltway or inside the beltway or however you want to put it.
It does sound good though.
That is Washington, D.C. that has put us in a position where you and I are having a conversation about how somebody let $750,000 be appropriated by the United States Congress for reducing xenophobia in Venezuela. And why, no matter what the amount, is any money being spent outside of the 12 appropriations? Or, I will even add this, an actual direct need of the American people? I mean, do we
Yep, every day's busy during the day. We'll see. I'd like to.
Do we really need to? Because they do the Bill Gates.
Got a lot of dead air.
Insect powder to children in Madagascar.
We'll play with it.
And I gotta ask this. What's a greenhouse gas calculator? I want to see the schematics. I really do. I want to see the schematics of what they were spending $900,000 for, where they had appropriated but not spent yet. So therefore, rescission.
All right, y'all. Catch you later. Peace.
So while we talk about taxation and how